Hello everybody, this is the Wikstrand. So the movie of today is I'll Sell My Skin Dearly. I don't think that the title really matches the movie in any way, but I guess they couldn't call it Shane. Another thing that can be said about this movie, it has 257 votes on IMDb last time I checked, which makes me the biggest clickbait of all time. Third, I cried in the end. It's very rare that I shared very masculine, very manly tears for a spaghetti western, but this one succeeded in doing this. I don't know if it was because of that the movie actually worked in its very emotional ending, or if it was because I was very emotional at the time. I don't know, but I knew this. Better spaghetti westerns have been made, worse spaghetti westerns have been made. But let's check out what is good and what is bad about this movie. This is I'll Sell My Skin Dearly. They are gold diggers, and they are approached by the movie's villain, who is called Magdalena. That is, by the way, Magdalena. Not exactly what you would expect, but we'll deal with it. And he says, I want your land. They says, no. He says, here's some money. Would you like to sell it? No. Magdalena's response is then, well, then I'll kill you all. So he kills everybody except for Shane. Now Shane has come back, and now he's going to, take out classical revenge on this land-grabbing asshole for killing his family and all that stuff. And the revenge goes quite well, and it is awesome, and it is epic, and we have one of the most amazing protagonists of all time, and I really liked everything. And then the movie grinded to an absolute halt and never fully recovered again, because Shane is critically wounded and is being treated by Christian and his mother Georgina. And nobody really knows that he's there, and he's trying to recover and getting back on track with his killing business. At the same time as this is happening, we have a lot of stuff going on with Magdalena's camp, where different of his stooges and his flunkies basically having their own small little confrontations, backstories and interactions with each other. I found that to be very interesting, that we're spending almost more time with the villain and the arcs that his crone is having. By the way, when was the last time you saw a movie in which the villain of the movie, you're following his henchmen and you're following his cronies and his right-hand man and what they are doing? They're actually getting full arcs for them. It's kind of wacky, but it actually kind of works. At the same time as this is happening, Shane and Georgina starts a rocky and reluctant relationship. And she begs him not to go through with his revenge and stuff like that, and he says that I have to kill this guy because he killed my family, etc, etc. So how is this going to end? We'll see. They have stolen a lot of things from other far superior spaghetti westerns, including stealing actual pieces of music from some of Sergio Leone's best movie. I can't remember if it was from Once Upon a Time in the West or if it was from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, but some of them was it. And this movie lacks a certain amount of hard-hitting action. There are some cool confrontations here and there, but the pacing is not very good, and the movie kind of dies a little bit when Shane is hurt, and as I said, never truly recovers from it. But surprisingly enough, while this movie lacks big action sequences, shootouts, big confrontations with a villain, I still found this movie to be pretty damn good. And a lot of that has to fall upon how this movie ends, because when this movie started, I kind of thought that I knew exactly how this movie was going to, unfold. It's going to be revenge, and then the villains are going to be panicking, and then they're gonna kidnap somebody, and then the villain is going to, say that you have to come now or we'll shoot Georgina, and then he, comes and kills everybody, and then he rides off to the sunsets alone. Hooray! The thing is that Georgina has a much bigger role in this movie as opposed to what the usual damsel in distress plays in these spaghetti western movies, because of her relationship with some of the parts of the villains. And the fact is that some people don't like her, and some people really lust for her, and some people are sort of in the middle. I think that was a pretty clever way of adding a layer to this story that the spaghetti westerns usually don't do. But I really would have liked this movie to have a big climax, but we didn't get that. Instead, we got a very unusual ending, which I thought actually was maybe even better than a standard spaghetti western climax. Maybe I'm wrong about this, maybe I'm right, but it was unusual and it was a risk to take, and I kind of have to agree with what they did was right. Maybe it was damping to the movie's excitement level, but holy hell, it made me shed a tear or two, and I very, very rarely do that for a spaghetti western movie. If you want to see a more than decent spaghetti western, complete with a good beginning, a very good ending, some interesting villains, some very unexpected plot twists that most of these movies do not do, and above else, a fucking amazing protagonist. Shane is just such a likable, typical anti-hero with his extremely rugged good looks and those baby blue eyes who I think can cut holes through steels or stuff like that. He's fucking great. Too bad they couldn't use him in a better way and they had him, you know, being wounded for most of the movie. But the way this movie ended kind of justified it. And I do recommend this movie. When it was like 20 minutes left of this movie, I thought this movie is not gonna crawl above 40. But then they delivered that fucking amazing ending and I said to myself, I'm crying. I'm gonna have to give this movie 61 points now, because this movie had such a fantastic ending. Sure, it steals a lot of its style. Sure, it steals angles and zooms and music and everything, but it steals them in a good way and it doesn't feel too copycatish. And in the end, I was just very, very happy with where the story took me. I'm always happy when a spaghetti western is able to surprise me, because that does not happen very often. So I'll see you next time for well, so and so reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.